Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspired disorder.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Boogie Nights, movie that came out in 1997, written and directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, his second film. I don't remember exactly how I first came across this movie. I'm going to guess it was on VHS tape, possibly when I worked at Blockbuster around 2000. I don't know. I feel like I came in late. I definitely didn't watch Hard Eight, the first film by Paul Thomas Anderson, until later. A friend of mine introduced me to that one. But Boogie Nights was one of those movies that was like, I don't know. It was a movie that it's like an epic film. It's an epic. I mean, it's a long film, but it at no point really feels long. But it's one of those long rides, right? Because you're following Mark Wahlberg's character Dirk Diggler. Well, I guess that's his stage name. Eddie Adams is his character's name, but for the most of the movie, he's Dirk Diggler. You're following him. This movie starts out with a long one-take shot, showing you the nightclub, showing you the street, L.A. streets in the 70s. Everybody's going out to the clubs. Then it shows you the outside of the club. Then the camera goes inside of the club as Burt Reynolds' character and Julianne Moore's character, Amber Waves, and Jack Horner, the porn director. They're showing up. They meet Luis Guzman's character at the front of the door. The camera follows them into this nightclub, and you're being introduced. They go into the nightclub, and this camera, one take. I mean, obviously, there's situations where the camera's panning behind somebody's back, these like cut points where you can kind of make a scene look longer. But amazing shot. You're being introduced to so much of the cast in this first one shot take. Just all these people that are hanging out at this club. You're seeing obviously the Jack Horner, the porn director. You're seeing Julianne Moore, one of his stars, and I don't know if it's his wife. I don't know if they're officially married or not, but they're a couple. And you're seeing Roller Girl. You're seeing some of the Don Cheadle and I think is it John C. Reilly there? I don't know. But you're seeing a lot of the characters kind of in this first scene, and then it ends with you seeing Mark Wahlberg working behind the counter. And he's young. He's a young Mark Wahlberg. He is plays a kid who's I don't know. I'd imagine he's 18, ambiguously around that age. And he's working at this club that's far away from his home, but he wants to be a star. He thinks that everybody is given one special gift, and they have to use that gift to their best of their ability. And his gift is having a big dick. So he works at this club because this is where a lot of porn stars work out, and he ends up meeting with Burt Reynolds, Jack Horner. And Jack invites him. He's like, just casually, just asking him, you're a good kid, whatever. And Mark Wahlberg's home life isn't very good. You get to see that, and it's basically what I found, especially in a few of the Paul Thomas Anderson films. I've been watching through a few of them. This movie's very much about finding your family. Right, because Dirk Diggler's family life not good. It actually kind of reminded me. There's a scene where he comes home and his mom is just giving him shit. Versus he's working. But I don't know. Just walking into your home, right, trying to go to sleep, and your mom just yelling at you constantly for no reason. It just reminded me a lot of what life was like in my age with a much different size penis. But still living in a situation that I did not want. And, him trying to find a family. And he finds that family in Jack and Amber, Julianne Moore and Burt Reynolds almost become his new parents. They bring him in to be the new talent, the new star that they're looking for in and Burt Reynolds' character is also like, he's like a director of porn, but he wants to elevate porn. He wants to make it more cinematic. He wants people to get brought in by the sex, but stay because of the storytelling. He has like these high aspirations for what porn can be, and it's kind of inspirational, to see a director that wants to push the art form, and it's also a situation where you're a kid. You come from a family that's not very nice to you. You go, all these people are nice, and they're kind of, degenerates like you. You're on the same wavelength as them. They don't have the same kind of walls up around themselves. They're much more open and free, obviously, because of their profession. He also becomes good friends with John C. Reilly. It's early John C. Reilly. They kind of have like this bro alpha kind of competitiveness between them, but also like this bro alpha thing, but in a very like childish way, like a childlike way, not like an assholey, like Proud Boy kind of bro-y whatever competition, but more like almost like stepbrothers in some ways, like just kind of showing off for each other. But yeah, he hits it off with John C. Reilly, so John C. Reilly comes like his like brother in a lot of ways. It's a film that like. So you see him, he finds this new family, he starts working with them, and he becomes like he finds his calling, because he is like this like talent in that industry, where not only he's big in the pants, but he's able to work the way he's able to control himself with his dick. It brings a lot, like he's able. It complements the production of the porn, let's say, and everybody. It's just like a very cohesive thing, and it's kind of you're seeing it's a rise and fall story also, because you're seeing all these people kind of get to a point as it gets closer and closer to New Year's Eve of '79. Because the New Year's Eve party of '79 is kind of the apex of where everything starts to go wrong. Like everything's kind of ramping up, everything's going well. You got Dirk Diggler. He's coming into his own as a porn star. He's coming up with these ideas of doing like a series of porn films where he's the star, and John C. Reilly's like his sidekick, and they fight crime and have sex with women, and it's like this kind of rise of story, and the Roller Girl's doing her thing, and Julianne Moore's doing her thing, despite the fact that she's not a very good mother to her own kids, and maybe that's why she's giving so much love and compassion to Dirk Diggler, because he's kind of like a surrogate son, like for the all the ways she wasn't a good parent to her own kids, she can be, and give that love to Dirk Diggler's character. So it's definitely a movie about a dysfunctional family. An unconventional, dysfunctional family, which I think is very common in a few of the Paul Thomas Anderson films that I've seen so far, is that this like kind of uncommon, dysfunctional, disjointed kind of family that kind of forms out of necessity. But on New Year's Eve of '79 is when everything changes. I mean, Dirk Diggler gets introduced to cocaine from his mother figure, Julianne Moore. You get these conversations of just how the industry of porn is changing. And also, not only the fact that industry of porn is changing, but during the time when Boogie Nights came out, the industry of filmmaking was changing. Where, I mean, in '99, I started working at a movie theater, and soon after that became a projectionist. And I remember having meetings with other projectionists talking about what's going to happen as digital becomes more prolific in the movie theater landscape, and how that's going to basically eliminate all of our careers as projectionists. Not that I wanted that to be a career, although that would have been a cool career to have. If they existed. I mean, there's still theaters that show film prints, and I'm sure some people are still projectionists, but to the level of industry or a job market as it was being changed in the film industry, going from film to digital. And in a similar way, Jack is talking with his investors about how VHS is coming in and changing the landscape of porn. It makes it much more inexpensive to produce, to maximize profits. It's all about maximizing profits. It's all about the business side of things. It's not about the art, which, despite the fact that he's making porn, Jack is all about the art. He wants to make good work. He's not just trying to make money. He's trying to make good work. That's his focus. That's his goal. And he wants other people around him to do good work. But with this change coming in VHS, not only of going from film to VHS, but also going from professional adult actors, professional porn actors, going to amateur, is something that's happening too. It's kind of a change in the industry. But also, so there's the change in the industry. There's changes that Jack is being faced with. Dirk is getting into cocaine, so he's kind of going down his own rabbit hole. And then, of course, you have William H. Macy's character, whose wife is constantly cheating on him with somebody in front of him. And at this party, she's literally sleeping with, not sleeping with, literally fucking a dude at the party for everybody to watch. Now it's a porn party. She's probably a porn actress, and she's kind of, exhibitionist, obviously getting into that. So William H. Macy's character is more on the production side, but he finally reaches his breaking point on New Year's Eve, and there's the murder-suicide scene that happens. And it's just like that New Year's scene where it's the end of the 70s and everything else. That was like the moment when he pulled the trigger, and that's how the party ended, just as the ball was dropping. It all changed for everybody. You start seeing Dirk Diggler. He starts sliding down, abusing coke, losing everything, being desperate, getting fights with Jack, pushing himself away. You're seeing Jack, his career, because of everything that's changing in the industry. You're seeing him tail slide and forced to make changes. And that's another thing with this film, other than, family, the unconventional family, but it's also about how change happens whether you want it to or not. No matter how hard you fight change, it's going to happen. And that's something in this movie that's also present, is how all of these things are, the changing times is out of their control, and it's just how they're able to adjust themselves and reacclimate and adapt to the new life. And then you have John Cheadle, who's kind of a guy who's constantly struggling with his identity, constantly changing new looks, new outfits to see what suits him best. And he's trying to open up his own electronics store. Like, that's his goal. You got Dirk Diggler, who's kind of like lost his passion. Just so many things changing. And there's this moment where, like, you see this rock bottom moment where it's going between this scene where Jack and Roller Girl are filming this amateur porn in the back of a limo, with VHS tapes, and they pick up some random college guy who happens to know Roller Girl from her past, and it's just this dark scene where on the opposite side you see Dirk Diggler's character, who's out of money, who needs money for coke. He's going back to what he was doing when he worked at the club in the beginning of the film, where he's like jerking off for money, or letting, he had like, he would let people look at his dick for $5 or watch him jerk off, or it's like $10 and $20. I forget the price points. I forget his menu options. But he basically regresses back to, not only back to what he was doing, but back to doing it for less money, because the guy that picks him up, doesn't have 20, says he doesn't have $20, says he'll pay him 10. So just to watch Dirk Diggler jerk it. But of course that rock bottom moment where you see things go wrong, where they're like trying to adapt to this change and trying to survive, and you see this kind of cutback and the tone of the music, the score of this moment it just adds so much more. But it's going back and forth from Dirk Diggler in this scene to Roller Girl in the back of the thing, and how that's not going well. And then you find out that it was all a scam. That the guy that picked up Dirk Diggler, they're just rounding up. They're trying to beat the gay people in town, and a bunch of dudes in a pickup truck show up and beat him up for being gay. Which, isn't much different from what a group of Proud Boys would be doing in current day, gay bashing, literally. So it's kind of, you see the rock bottom of not only Dirk Diggler but also Jack and his career and his business and what's happening, and also Roller Girl. But then there's this like added scene. There's the only thing that bothered me in this film, not really bothered me, but it just felt like a scene that's really good that they wanted to keep in, despite the fact that narratively it doesn't quite fit. Because you go from the scene where Dirk Diggler's getting his ass kicked in the parking lot for the being confused as being gay, to all of a sudden he's with John C. Reilly and these other dudes that he does drugs with, and they go to this rich dude's house to try and sell him fake cocaine. And then when they're there, one of the dudes that he goes with, it wants to do more. He wants to rob a safe, and it's just things go bad again. But it's like he doesn't look messed up. He doesn't look like he was beat up at all. It's just like it just felt like it was a scene that was so good, because it is a good scene where they go into this guy's house and he's got like this Chinese kid that's there that's throwing firecrackers randomly. He's got this bodyguard that's going to check out. Like, it's a great scene, but it just feels like it's a scene that could have happened maybe before the rock bottom moment. I don't know. It just feels like there was an extra scene somewhere that maybe like, or the gay bashing scene was extra. Like, I don't know. It just felt like there was an added scene there that I wouldn't want be cut out, but it just doesn't feel like it. They just don't fit. It like feels like that there's a time jump somewhere in there. But they get through it, and that, like, Dirk Diggler comes back to Jack, and they kind of like everybody. It's like this rise and fall, and then like kind of getting through that pendulum swing, right? I mean, I guess if it's a pendulum, so it's like the movie starts and it's the rise, and then everything's going good, and then all of a sudden things change. New Year's happens, and then the rock bottom moment, he gets beat up in the parking lot, and this amateur film thing that Jack's trying to do just to stay relevant. And also Jack is becoming more irrelevant because he's older, and he's just out of touch with what the changing trends are in which you see also in Phantom Thread, which is an interesting thing. But so you see the rock bottom, and then this movie, you start to see everything kind of go back, right? They kind of get through everything, and everything starts to get a little bit better. And, it's kind of like a happy ending for the movie. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a beautiful film. One thing I enjoyed is the camera always moving. Like, the camera, it doesn't take away from what's going on, but it also keeps a pace to the movie because it's so long that it doesn't feel as long. It just feels like you are on a ride, a crazy ride with these people. But the camera movements in this it's always pushing in, pulling out, moving side to side, panning around. Like, there's a bank conversation where Don Cheadle's trying to get a bank loan for his thing, but the bank obviously isn't going to do it because of his history with porn, and I'm sure because he's black. But there's like this thing where normally you have a conversation, you have like a two-shot over the same shoulder, whatever, but it's like a scene that starts, the camera's over here, it swooshes behind Don Cheadle and his girlfriend, and then it's focused on the bank teller as he's giving him the bad news. It's just like there's so many great moments, including the opening scene, a lot of long takes, just a beautiful film, great acting all around. I mean, everybody, even God, what's his name? The late great. Oh, is it not going? No. Oh my goodness. I have to get his name. Where is his name? Philip Seymour Hoffman. Amazing Phillips. He's like a small character in this. He's kind of like the sound guy. He's kind of like he's a role player in the porn game as far as production. But he's just so awkward and so like innocent in some ways that he's just like just awkward and innocent and lovable. It's so weird. It's just so weird what that guy's able to do. But just so many great performances, early performances too by all these people. And Paul Thomas Anderson's second film. And there are directors, like Zack Snyder has never made a film that is as good as Boogie Nights. And I'm not even completely sure Boogie Nights is the best Paul Thomas Anderson film, which I will be doing a top 5 of my Paul Thomas Anderson films pretty soon. But yeah, Boogie Nights is amazing. I watched it on HBO Max, so if you're looking for it, it's a classic. It's so good. Just a great movie about family, just like Fast and the Furious, but with porn. Boogie Nights. Sign up for Ting and get yourself $25 in credit on your new cell phone service, or get yourself $25 and put it towards a new device. Go through my link at inspireddisorder.com/Ting. That's TING. You'll get cell phone service that you don't pay an arm and a leg for. It's amazing service that's part of all the major cell phone networks. But sign up today through my link. Get yourself $25 in credit that you can apply to a new cell phone. You can apply it to your service. But it's amazing cell phone service that I've used for many, many years. So go through my link, inspireddisorder.com/Ting. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com and follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!